time now for your business update with Stephen Carroll. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Jeannie.
You are starting with news of job cuts at the brewer Heineken.
The Dutch firm is cutting 8,000 jobs worldwide as the pandemic kept much of the hospitality sector closed over the past year. The world's number 2 brewer reported losses of more than 200 million euros for 2020. Sales fell by 17% as bars and cafes were shut down for months. Now, the cuts will represent around 10% of Heineken's workforce. The job losses are part of the company's plan to cut 2 billion euros worth of costs by 2023. Heineken's CEO says they're expecting market conditions to improve gradually in the second half of this year.
There's some better news, though, for the car maker Toyota.
Profits jumped by 50% in the last 3 months of 2020. Toyota seeing a solid recovery after a slump in sales earlier in the year, with profits equivalent to 6.6 billion euros for the quarter. The company is still expecting sales to be around 15% lower for this financial year that runs until the end of March. That's compared to the previous year. Interestingly, Toyota's CEO says they're currently not being affected by a global shortage of semiconductor chips that's hurting other car makers.
Next now to the U.S., where President Biden has been trying to drum up support from businesses for his economic rescue plan.
Joe Biden met with a group of CEOs, including the bosses of Walmart and JP Morgan on Tuesday. He wants their backing for his $1.9 trillion package, which is designed to help those worst hit economically by the pandemic. Erin Ogunkeye has the story.
Pressure is mounting on Joe Biden to convince lawmakers and business leaders to unite around his $1.9 trillion coronavirus recovery package. The U.S. president held talks with executives Tuesday, focusing on stimulus payments, infrastructure, and the minimum wage.
We have to deal at the same time with employment. We have to deal at the same time with business and the growth of the economy. We can't let one wait, can't get everybody well and then move on the economy. We have to move quickly on both.
Among the major proposals included in the rescue plan, direct payments of $1,400 for individuals earning up to $75,000 and households making less than $200,000 per year, raising the federal minimum wage from $7.25 to $15, increased unemployment aid, and extending a moratorium on evictions. Anticipating Republican concerns about the budget, the White House press secretary also said the administration is examining different options for funding the relief package.
One thing that could happen is that the tax cuts for the highest income could be rolled back, and there's kind of a newfound concern about deficit reduction among some who supported those tax cuts. So, that's one suggestion.
While the president has expressed optimism about finding compromise with some Republicans on the relief plan, at least 2 people present at Tuesday's meeting, including executives from Walmart and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, have said they oppose raising the minimum wage to $15, a proposal Biden argues would lift millions of American workers out of poverty.
Let's take a look at what's happening on the markets next for you. European shares trading pretty flat this lunchtime. Shares in the French bank Société Générale up by 3% after their results came in better than had been expected by investors. Shares in Heineken, though, down 1.5% after the news of those job cuts.
Stephen, we're going to talk about Twitter now. Twitter has seen an increase in both its users and its profits over the period that covered the U.S. election.
Donald Trump, potentially the most famous Twitter user until he was kicked off the platform last month. These results cover the period from October to December. They show a big rebound in revenues from advertising, which had dipped earlier in the year. Now, for the whole year, Twitter recorded losses of over $1 billion. But the 3-month picture is more positive. Revenues and profits were both higher than the same period last year. And even compared to the previous 3 months, Twitter says that its number of daily active users that see advertising grew to 192 million. The company says the departure of Donald Trump from the platform hasn't affected that. It says it has seen the number of active users rise in January.
Let's come back now to France, where some risky bets are being taken by entrepreneurs during the pandemic.
Restaurants have only been allowed to serve takeaway and delivery meals since October of last year, and that's been tough for even the biggest established players on the restaurant scene in France. Some new entrants have gone ahead with opening new restaurants despite the restrictions in place.
It's a risky move to make in the midst of a pandemic, opening a new restaurant, as the industry has been brought to a near standstill. This restaurant in northern Paris
love Aaron's
opened
voice.
during the second national lockdown in November. Their Hawaiian dishes, served cold, are perfectly suited for delivery and takeaway, the only options available in light of current coronavirus restrictions.
Dans notre secteur d'activité, qui est donc la restauration rapide, c'est le bon moment pour se lancer. Parce que justement, la clientèle n'a pas une offre assez large de restauration et veut varier. Donc ça peut permettre aussi de fidéliser sa clientèle, de se faire découvrir. C'est le moment d'être offensif, c'est le moment de savoir innover.
But even with an established brand, startup costs can be significant. This Domino's Pizza outlet opened in January. The owner invested between 300 and 350,000 euros.
On ne peut pas dire que c'est maintenant qu'il faut ouvrir des restaurants, quoi. Nous, après, on a une entreprise où on en gère déjà des existants, on continue de se développer. Par contre, quelqu'un qui veut démarrer dans le métier, ouvrir là aujourd'hui, non, c'est compliqué, quoi.
Another sign of the times, the growth of so-called dark kitchens, cooking spaces without dining rooms entirely dedicated to deliveries. The model allows several different restaurants to share a single kitchen, often significantly reducing running costs.
Just to wrap up now, Stephen, the pandemic has also been responsible for a Barbie boom.
That's right. Toy maker Mattel had its best Christmas season in 4 years, sales up by 10% in the last 3 months of 2020. Now, COVID-19 has generally boosted toy sales as parents have been spending more on their children who are stuck at home. Mattel's most popular items were, of course, the Barbie dolls, American Girl dolls as well, but also Hot Wheels, Star Wars teddies, and even the card game Uno. In the United States in 2020, toy sales were up by almost 17%. Barbie, certainly one of the most popular choices. She's having another revival in her long career.
No new Barbies in my house. Definitely a new pack of Uno in a Christmas stocking somewhere. I'm sure of it.
One of your colleagues said this morning that you need to have several in the house at any time.
Absolutely, Stephen. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Stephen, if I said to you, I'm not a cat, I'm a lawyer, what would you think? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I would. And I would
Good.
say that is a catastrophe.
Very funny. Well, if you do not know what we're talking about, you're going to take a look at these words taking the Twitterverse by storm with a hilarious Zoom mishap coming up in the press review. Stay with us.
Video settings.